Hey there. Welcome to the Gyro Step, which now operates on Dame Time. Proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN. I am Ti Windisch, one of your hosts, joined as always by the, perseverant Rohan Katti. I say that because of some tech issues this morning, and also Rohan trying to enjoy his weekend amidst a barrage of texts from me, excited about this episode, asking about 14 different scheduling opportunities. I couldn't wait, folks. I don't know how I've made it until Monday morning, the day before, or the day of media day. So we're going to have even more to talk about this week. But boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. Boy, I can't wait. So happy to be here with you, Rohan.
Happy to be here with you, Ti. Welcome back.
Thank you.
After a well-deserved absence.
Yeah.
You did manage to check in.
I did. I had to.
On X.com. I mean, you had to, but...
I realized later I posted a video showing a lot of leg on X.com. I'm not sure how I feel about that. After the trade, I was able to gather some thoughts and just wrap them off to the thank you for my now wife, Mrs. Gyro Step, as she will be known on the show, for recording that for me. Very much appreciated it. Taking time out of my honeymoon. So this is how I found out about the Dame trade. We'll start here.
Yeah, please, because this is to all the listeners. This is basically a second emergency pod because Ti did not get the chance to do this. So please go ahead.
I'm on my honeymoon. We're driving through Maine, and it was a long drive. I was going from New Hampshire to Bar Harbor, Maine, which is Acadia. It's right by Acadia National Park. It's on the ocean. It's like deep into Maine, like kind of not rural Maine, but you have to go whatever. So getting pretty close to getting there, starting to get excited, ready to not be driving through Maine anymore. And my wife goes, "Oh, the Bucks got Damian Lillard." And I immediately was like, "No, they didn't." No, they didn't. I saw she was on Facebook. I was like, that's somebody photoshopped that. What's the at? This is probably a fake account. I'm like, "Read the at." And she's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, yes, I'm serious. This can't happen. So she's like, "At Woj ESPN." I was like, "Is there an underscore? Is there an exclamation point? Is it M?" She's like, "No, look." And she starts looking it up other places. And I just start like yelling. I was like, they actually did it. They did it. I did not think they were going to do it. I thought they would try to do it, to be clear, which we talked about. I mean, after the Beal thing and everything else and Giannis's comments, we all thought they would try to do it. Certainly did not expect them to actually pull it off. But I remember saying when we talked about this, the window in is Miami, and I'm going to warn, this is going to be an explicit pod. I'm not going to be able to help myself. The kids will be okay. If Miami fucks around for too long, it opens up a window for the Bucks or someone else, but certainly the Bucks will try to get in there. And we saw this with, ironically, the Jrue Holiday trade.
Yep,
where
Brooklyn fucked around.
Oh, we're not going to give you all that. Nobody else wants him, whatever. And the Bucks just, here's our offer. Like, you can take this. And let's just get the deal done right now. It's literally like the draft day scene, which this is a good deal. That's Jon Horst. This is a good deal. You should take this deal. And you get the franchise player, and the other team gets, Drew's a very good player. The other team gets other stuff. I can't believe it. This is literally the kind of player, not the kind of player, the player we fantasized about playing with Giannis. Like, we never thought it would actually be possible. We always tried to have to engineer how could we get this level of spacing? Because of course we won't get the kind of shooting ball handler. We won't get a Dame. We won't get a Steph. You just can't get those guys. It turns out you can if your name is Jon Horst and you're the Milwaukee Bucks. I still kind of can't believe it in reading out the full trade package. Jrue Holiday knew he would have to be included. We'll talk more about Jrue, who's now a Celtic. That sucks. We'll talk about that.
Lots of thoughts to come on that.
Yeah. Grayson Allen. Okay. That's sorry about your son. That's fine.
My son is flourishing with the Suns. It's okay.
Yeah. He had a nice little tweet about it, so that was good. One first round pick, 2029, I believe. 2 swaps. And that's it. That's all the Bucks gave up. And I was really floored because, I mean, we had talked, does MarJon have to be included in this? Probably. That sucks, but you have to do it. MarJon's still here. One of the rookies. One of the rookies? Nope. Portland's 2024 first, which I don't know if you've heard.
Second.
Second. I don't know if you've heard. The West is pretty good. Portland's still pretty not good. That looks like it'll be a top 40 pick in this draft to be to be conservative, which I don't like doing, still in Milwaukee. The Bucks 2027 second, still in Milwaukee. That's the end of assets they could have included and didn't, but still didn't even have to give up everything. I think that the next day, as I thought about it more, that blew my mind even more, because this is usually the kind of trade like we saw the Suns do. Okay, he's coming here. We agreed on it. Here's all the stuff, right? Here you go. Here's all the picks. Go ahead, take them. The fact that the Bucks didn't have to throw in everything, or really all that close to everything, is wild to me, Rohan. So I just said a lot. Feel free to jump in on any of that.
Thank you, James Jones. That's all we have to say.
So
it's thank you to James Jones, because they were able to loop in Phoenix. And this is a good segue into something you're pulling up, Ty. But it was a masterful gambit, to reference one of my favorite tweets of all time, to loop in the Phoenix Suns, and so they were able to get DeAndre Ayton to Portland in exchange for basically dumping Jusuf Nurkic. And because of that, you were able to get like a former number 1 overall pick, a prized asset around the league, just anywhere except for Phoenix, basically, is a prized asset. And that just brings up the value of this entire trade and adds to it. Like, you're getting, like, Damian Lillard is out. Jusuf Nurkic to Portland is a negative asset now. So you're able to turn that negative asset into a prized prospect. I'll say prized prospect, like, relatively. Obviously, Ayton has his faults, but he's still a young 18-10 guy for his career. Like, he's a good center. Like, he's a very good center. We've seen him be a good center on a finals run.
I feel like he has some Andre Drummond trajectory to him. Honestly,
he needs to fix some things real quick.
The whole trade befuddled. Like, you know what I kept thinking? This is like the kind of shit that happens to the Lakers, and we're all pissed about it. The Bucks getting Dame in this trade is Laker pilled. Like, this should not happen to a team in Milwaukee. And credit to Giannis, of course, for elevating the team to that level. Credit to the Bucks front office for operating like this, like not operating like a small market team at all, including, we'll get to Cam Payne, who signed at the tax side either. But like, okay, so the trade for the other teams. Portland, I think, overall ends up pretty good. They flip Jrue, they get 3 more picks. So they get 4 picks, some swaps, and some youngish players. Like, they get Rob Williams and Ayton, which to me is like, sure, whatever. I don't love both of those guys.
They're going to trade one of them.
Probably.
I assume they trade Robert Williams.
They better trade Rob soon. They better trade Rob soon, because it's hard to trade a guy when he's out for a month or whatever. Like,
they probably trade Brogdon too.
Oh yeah, they got Brogdon.
Now, I mean, Jrue Holiday. This is stolen, by the way. Jrue Holiday, obviously a big piece, but the real championship contention lies with where Malcolm Brogdon goes.
What if he comes back? No, I'm good. I'm good.
With what they would have to trade him.
Yeah. If he gets bought out, which I don't think is happening. But the Suns part of it befuddles me. So you pick a guy over Luka. Everyone knows it's stupid. You employ Luka's EuroLeague coach at the time. Whatever. You do that. You build a pretty great team since then. Then you sell it all for a limited run core. And then you're like, what's the missing piece here? Jusuf Nurkic and Grayson Allen? Why? Why was that the move for them? And they didn't even know it was Grayson.
Exactly. So do you want to tell people about that?
So first, I love in this story, it starts with
this is a story from Adrian Wojnarowski.
Yeah. ESPN Plus. So we learned a lot of amazing. This is like, we don't always get reporter Woj. Normally it's like he gets the info from the agent and he puts out a 2-paragraph story, and that's that. This is like, Woj was like, no, I have some real info to share. And boy, did he. So we found out that the Horst and the Bucks, the line we heard earlier about keeping Giannis out of the loop and keeping it secret was not just like something they put out there after to make this sound better. Maybe Giannis knew, maybe he didn't, but certainly the plausible deniability is here. The Bucks were so secretive in their dealings with the Blazers on this that they did not allow Joe Cronin to tell the Suns that, it says Bartlestein here. I thought it would be James Jones. I guess Bartlestein's also involved in the Suns' decision-making now, whatever. I
think it's about talking to players who are involved in trade talks. To his players. That's how I interpreted it.
Well, Bartelstein, no, he's Suns CEO now. So I think this is another Bartelstein who works for the Suns.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. I thought we were talking about it's his son. I forgot about
that. Yeah. So this is so he's telling the Suns. So I guess this guy is like, James Jones is now the third in command here because clearly Ishbia does a lot. That doesn't matter. Who cares?
Isaiah Thomas.
Soon. Cronin just kept telling Bartelstein, just trust me. You're going to like the mystery player. Trust me. So the Bucks told the Blazers to tell the Suns, don't even worry. And they didn't even know it was a Buck. They thought it was either going to be Grayson or Victor Oladipo. Who is like, is he even going to play basketball this year? And what is going on with the Suns? They're like, that's fine. Sure. Well, yeah, why not? Like, what? How can you do a trade? So they literally were just like, and they gave up to Connie Kamara, who's like an interesting, fun summer league, whatever. And they were just like, yeah, we're getting Nurkic and something for our 1 overall pick, DeAndre Ayton, who's, had good numbers, whatever. They hate him, clearly. And Nasir Little, sure. And they're just like, yeah, that's fine. Sure. We'll do whatever. There's an interesting detail in this story I think a lot of people are missing. It starts with Milwaukee Bucks general manager Jon Horst steered his wife and 2 children on the drive home from a family wedding in northern Wisconsin on Sunday. That's crazy that Horst had, in addition to his wife in the car, Bartelstein and Joe Cronin, his kids in there with him. No wonder he was able to make the deal if they were all in one place like this. I don't know how and obviously we're pro Bucks focused. I don't know how you read this story and come away with not as a big takeaway. Horst took over the trade talk. That's insane. He had one first. They had one first. And he totally dictated the terms. He said, this is how it's going to go. You guys are in or you're out. And they said, okay. Oh, all right. Anything but Miami.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. Like, you're right. Horst dictated the terms of this trade where he was working under the assumption. First of all, we should also talk about Chris Haynes' story that also came up.
I got that up too. If only for the text at the end.
That's just my screensaver now.
Nice.
It's not, but it should be.
That's soon. You can make that happen. It's doable.
I can. I'm coming. It's shout out Marjan.
Marjan Katti.
What was I forgot what I was saying at this.
Haynes story.
So Haynes story. Like, the Bucks were operating from a place of weakness in the eyes of Portland and I guess Phoenix, because as we know, this is from the Chris Haynes story. We saw that Damian Lillard, once he requested the trade, the only place he wanted to go to was Miami. We saw that. We like that was the only reporting out there. Aaron Goodwin, his agent, was getting in trouble by the NBA for like actively steering people, like other teams not named the Miami Heat, to try to trade for him. Like, it was scorched earth Miami, or it's Miami. That's it. That's the only option here. But apparently around after it materialized that maybe Miami wasn't going to happen, so around like 2 weeks ago or something, Aaron Goodwin started to tell the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks that, hey, if Dame gets traded here, we're not going to be like, he's happy with it. Like, he's happy. Like, these are the other 2 teams. We're expanding the list. We're doing something we should have done initially, and we're expanding the list. Aaron Goodwin, by the way, the absolute loser of this whole saga.
No, great agent. Answer my emails. Let's get Dame on the pod.
Yeah, you're right.
I do agree with what you said too. Okay, continue. And quickly, if anyone's wondering why Brooklyn, Dame just, like me, just fucking loves Mikal Bridges. That's been he really wants to play with Mikal. So that's why Portland was on, Brooklyn, I should say, was on the list.
Yes. So Milwaukee and Brooklyn get added to the list. And yeah, you're right. Great job, Aaron Goodwin. You're the reason Dame is a Buck. So you know what? I have to be appreciative.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so once Aaron Goodwin tells Brooklyn and Milwaukee, hey, Dame would be happy here, he also says, do not tell Portland this in case it impacts negotiation, which is actually a very good strategy.
Yeah.
It's because from Portland's perspective now, Milwaukee and Brooklyn are like actively trying to trade for this guy, but Portland doesn't know that Dame wants to go there.
Right.
And it's just like it wouldn't impact negotiations. They wouldn't try to drive up a price saying, hey, we know Dame wants to go to one of these teams. Let's talk business. It's like, oh, you guys want to go trade for Dame now? Good luck. Here, if you're serious, let's talk about this.
Well, and make sure Cronin doesn't extend the Miami negativity to Milwaukee and Brooklyn too. Yeah. Because clearly the last time they told him where they should trade him, that didn't work out. I think Cronin comes off as one of the – I mean, the Heat aren't even really in this. They clearly are one of the huge losers just because they sat on their hands through 2 now point guard trades and just did nothing and lost 2 starters to add Josh Richardson, which is not really a starter caliber player. Cronin, though, certainly comes off, and I mean, thank God for him, right? Like, you can't even say he did a bad job, I guess, because again, the return coming back now is pretty good overall.
Overall, it's a win. Like the trade is a win. Like Joe Cronin got like the max he really could.
But I think there's some good fortune there for him because of the secrecy. And this was something that fascinated me personally, and this is where I started to realize before the Woj story, I started to realize there was some truth to how the Bucks were operating, keeping people out of the loop on this, because the trade closed that day of the reporting. And usually something like this, where it's like, okay, a bad team is getting someone like Jrue Holiday, they'll announce it, but then they try to route the guy before. Like I think the Beal trade I don't even know if that one had finished before they sent CP to the Warriors. That might have all been the same transaction, right? Like they'll loop in a team. It's usually easier for salary matching and that there's aggregation stuff. Like the Blazers couldn't include anyone with Jrue, which obviously wasn't a problem because teams just wanted Jrue. But usually you try and wait and do a 4th team and make it work that way. They just locked it in that day. With Jrue going to Portland.
We're done.
Yeah, the Bucks are literally call it in right now. Like it's done.
We have a rally to set up.
Let's not talk about the rally. I'm not talking about the Bally Sports Wisconsin show. Let's not talk about any rally. People who listen to the Brewers games know that.
I know that's a thing. I've watched those commercials so many times. Still didn't register.
Yeah, that's fair.
Were you saying that right now? I was like, oh man, that's a thing.
Oh yeah, that exists. Shout out people who watch the rally, I guess. I'm not going to talk about the Dame rally. His heart isn't in it. Like he clearly didn't get off a plane with 3 kids and walk
all in matching green outfits.
Yeah. Hey, I thought his body language was great when he was draining a bunch of threes in the practice facility, wearing Bucks gear. That's all I needed to see. The trade went through right away.
Yep.
And Portland got a little fortunate. I mean, I think they knew, but if the market for Jrue wasn't good, they could have been stuck holding the bag because they couldn't shop Jrue before it all came out. And of course, it ended up being good. Everyone wanted Jrue. Now that he's no longer a Buck, Jrue is like a top 5 player in the NBA and the best defender of all time, and clearly a guy who's going to make first team All NBA this year. Apparently, I find it funny how that is flipped. Anyway, I love Jrue. This isn't a negativity toward Jrue. Certainly the way these players are talked about changed a lot when Dame became a Buck and Jrue became a not Buck, and then even more when Jrue became a Celtic. That's the real trade, Rohan, was Jrue Holiday going to Boston, of course. I want to get to the trade.
The Celtics, I've heard, Ty, are the real winners of the Damian Lillard trade.
Listen, when your franchise player says, I'd like to play with Damian Lillard, and then you get the sloppy seconds from the Damian Lillard trade, that's the mark of a great organization.
Yeah. When you don't get the better player.
Yeah. But why would you want that when you can get the more impactful player?
When you give up more picks to get the less valuable player.
I think more teams should do that.
That's crazy. The Celtics traded more first for
all they need is 37-year-old Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis any age to stay healthy, and they'll be fine. And can't be asking too much.
And
right?
to defend at a high level.
We'll get to the Celtics later. Here's the text Giannis sent to Jrue per Chris Haynes, who did people said it was biased, whatever. I mean, there was still a lot of reporting in this article. He got both Dame and Giannis on the record, which is incredible.
Only he could do that.
Yeah, it's literally. It was that same day or next day?
Next day, I think.
That's crazy to turn that around that fast. Giannis was really sad about Jrue, but really excited about Dame, which I think speaks to pretty much all of us. You were like the biggest Jrue hater after the playoffs, so I was curious what your reaction was.
Don't
be taken aback.
No. First of all, I want to clarify what I've said. I said that Jrue Holiday should not be the starting point guard of the Milwaukee Bucks. That does not mean that I said that he should be the starting 2 guard for the Milwaukee Bucks. I didn't say I want him off the team. I said his role needs to change. I'm going to miss Jrue dearly. Dearly, I'm going to miss Jrue. Him and Lauren, first of all, off the court in the city of Milwaukee, are going to miss his impact for sure. Obviously that is a massive, massive loss that I only hope can be replicated at the highest level or attempted to be replicated, because I don't know if it actually will be able to. But first and foremost, that will be dearly, dearly missed. And Jrue Holiday as a player, as someone who's locked in, bought in immediately to the city of Milwaukee, immediately wanted to be a Buck for life. And God, I hope he puts on a Bucks jersey again at some point in his career. I really hope so, because that 21 no one should wear. I don't want anyone to wear that. Because even though it's 3 years and done, the impact he's had on this franchise, this city, this organization is unparalleled. Him coming to this city delivered the first championship in 50 years. Obviously there are lots of other factors to that, but without him, the Bucks do not win a title. Full stop.
Yeah.
So Jrue will be dearly, dearly, dearly missed.
And also, this is a weird way to look at it, but they got Jrue, and that ushered in a championship and Giannis signing. I still don't think Giannis will sign this summer. They put the extension in front of him.
It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe he's just in that good of a mood. We'll see. But if Giannis does sign back again next summer,
give him some brats and he'll sign.
Yeah, big brat. He's going to be playing more 5 if he keeps eating brats. I'm a little concerned about that, but we'll manage that when we get there. But Jrue also, because of the player and person he is, ushered in this new era of Bucks basketball, because clearly this trade is not possible were it not for Jrue Holiday and his standing around the league. And, sadly, he came out and said he wanted to be a Buck for life, but also confirmed he wasn't retiring the couple days before the trade, which I think also kind of enabled this to happen. So Jrue, obviously directly for the championship and getting Giannis to sign the Supermax, but also indirectly, there's no Dame trade were it not for Jrue being awesome. Also, can we trace back a little bit here? The Bucks went from cap space to Greg Monroe to Eric Bledsoe to Jrue Holiday to Damian Lillard. And I feel like the last 3 of those, the line was, oh, they have no assets. They can't do anything. They're stuck. And that's been a line after this trade too. And it's if they can get Dame for 1 first, maybe you should just recalibrate what being stuck is for the Bucks. They don't get stuck. They figure it out. Put some respect on this front office that's always figured it out.
Yeah, and by the way, next year every year you get another pick.
That's exactly. You're never out for long. They're always back. Next year, we'll see. Second apron may impact the 2031, but they will have their first for sure. Probably be a late first with Dame and Giannis in tow, but either trade or spend on another young player that draft. You get a first every other year, no matter what. So you're never totally out, and every 2 years you get another future first to trade. So
it happens. It's you're not out of the deck for long.
And also, how many players do you want to acquire? They have Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Khris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis, etc., Malik Beasley, Marjon Beauchamp. How many players? Jay Crowder. I keep forgetting Jay. How many players do you need on this? They could use some more players. Cam Payne now. You could always use an upgrade, but they have a couple seconds in the meantime. What, are they supposed to trade for another superstar? Who cares about the first round picks 5 years from now? They have Dame and Giannis and all these other guys.
In the words of whatever the Rams GM's name is, fuck them picks.
Les Snead.
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah, wear that shirt. I'll wear that. I'll make a custom Bucks. Fuck them picks. I almost said fuck them shirts. Fuck them picks shirt, and I'll wear it when the Bucks are winning a title.
We should actually. We could probably. That's probably not a trademark. We could probably actually make that shirt. More on that coming soon.
Yeah.
But and to be clear, is it going to hurt when eventually this era is over? Yeah, they won't have many picks. Whatever. Maybe they won't be able to trade guys. Maybe they will. You know what? You want to know a secret? If the Bucks had all of their first round picks for the next 1,000 years, but you just took Giannis off the roster, which is a magic way to take Giannis off the roster is to not use all these picks. That's kind of how that works. You know what the Bucks are if they don't have Giannis, but they have all these great picks? They're fucked. Like that's we can pretend like, oh, they're going to rebuild. They're going to be a contender again in 2 years. You can't just hit a button and get a new Giannis. There's like 5 guys like this in the league. How many organizations? How long have the Magic been? And we like where the Magic are right now. How long have the Magic been rebuilding in a row right now?
Since the Dwight Howard. Yeah, since the Dwight Howard trade.
And even then,
I guess since Vooch, like that Vooch era when they made the playoff.
They were still. Come on.
Shout out Vooch. I saw Vooch at dinner the other day.
Yeah. Shout out to Vooch. Setting the price for Brook Lopez a little higher. Good work, Vooch, on your negotiation skills. But it's like, who cares? They're not gonna have Giannis either way. They had a bunch of picks in the 50 years between Kareem and Giannis. They had some really good teams there. You know, they ended up putting together in the 80s.
Yeah.
But when you don't have that Kareem or Giannis level guy, you build that well, and it might not all matter. So it's the correct move.
Your best case scenario is maybe making the finals.
Yes, unless you luck into another guy, which we're just not going to. I mean, I don't even want to talk about this much longer because we have a really fun era right in front of us to cover. But all this is just to say it's the correct move to leverage yourself to your eyeballs to win with Giannis. And also, kind of almost counterintuitively, it makes the future brighter too because maybe he stays. Like if they don't do the Jrue picks and save their 26 and 28 picks or whatever, and Giannis leaves after 21, but they don't win because they don't have Jrue, like your future is a lot less bright from 2022 on through the next few years here with Dame than it would have been with Giannis and Dame. So I think everyone knows that, but just want to reiterate. I want to circle back to the talent level of Damian Lillard a little bit here because I think and I think I was guilty of this too, like not understanding enough the talent difference between Dame and anyone Giannis has ever played with. And this is not to slight Jrue Holiday or Khris Middleton. We love these guys. Dame has made an All-NBA team in 5 of the last 6 years, which is realistically 5 of the last 5 years he played. The only one he didn't, he played like 28 games because of an abdominal injury. That was the season before last now. Giannis has made one in 7 straight years. Shout out to Giannis, who's very good. 2 Bucks. I want to actually ask you, I don't know if you saw my post about this. Do you know when the last time 2 Bucks made All-NBA in the same season was? To just put into context how rare it is to have 2 of these guys.
Was it in the 80s?
It was 1985. Sidney Moncrief and Terry Cummings. I'm sure a lot of people would have thought
it's probably Sid.
Marcus. Yeah, it's had to be Sid. Terry Cummings, who actually got MVP votes a season or 2, I think. Very good player, very good forward. But again, very good player, not a Giannis player. Anyway, and clearly to make it obvious I didn't say it, Giannis has never played with a guy on the All-NBA team before. Maybe there's like a former All-NBA guy who rolled through, but actively, like Giannis has not had. Huh?
Did Brook ever make All-NBA?
That's a good question.
I'll look right now.
Yeah, he might have. But Khris and Jrue or anyone else on the team with Giannis never made All-NBA.
He did not?
Oh, wow. It used to be easier for centers. No longer going forward, but it used to be easier.
Yeah, that's why you got like
DeAndre Jordan.
First team. Yeah. It's DeAndre Jordan.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. He made a lot of money based on that.
That's true. Dame has gotten MVP votes 5 times.
3-time All-NBA, DeAndre Jordan.
Wow. Dame has gotten MVP votes 5 times. Finished as high as top 4 one year. Do you know the last non-Giannis Buck to get a single vote, and literally 1 vote?
Was it actually Terry Cummings?
It was Michael Redd.
Oh.
In like 2004. He got literally 1 vote. So there's a huge difference even between a vote and 4th in MVP. Like clearly. He was like tied for 12th or something that year. But it's been that long since anyone besides Giannis, on the team or not with Giannis, got an MVP vote. I think Bogut got a couple. And he might have also made All-NBA. I think he was the last All-NBA before Giannis. But we've never seen this level of talent alongside Giannis on the Bucks. To still have Khris too. I remember like a year ago, we were talking Dame trades. It's like we have to give up Jrue and Khris because then it's like really hard to do. They didn't. And I want to talk about Khris here in just a second because I do think Khris is set up to have his best season ever. I think this is an amazing move for Khris Middleton. But the kind of player we always wanted to see with Giannis, that pull-up 3-point shooter that Jrue could be in the regular season, but absolutely could not in the playoffs.
It's not even just that. Like even teams during the regular season aren't going to respect Jrue Holiday enough to like in terms of his pull-up three-point shooting, whether it's going to continue to be a mirage or not. It's like you're not going to get that gravity that you get with Damian Lillard. Like it's fruitless comparing Jrue Holiday's pull-up shooting to Damian Lillard's pull-up three-point shooting, because Damian Lillard is literally one of the greatest shooters to ever walk planet Earth.
He was first in the NBA in pull-up threes per game last season, 7.4 per game. Shot 37% on them, which I think is actually a touch low for him, but still a very high number for pull-up threes. And also, I think with all the Dame shooting numbers, worth mentioning here, did not have a two-time MVP that was rolling off of him to create more space for Dame. I think this pick and roll, it's going to be destructive. I don't think there's a good way to cover it. And for all the great defenses out there in the league, I don't think there's any defense that has a very good answer to what we do about a Dame Giannis pick and roll. I don't think you can find a team with two players who are comfortable switching that and covering both guys. Like, I don't think you certainly aren't dropping. We've seen teams drop on the Bucks. You're not dropping on Dame. If you stick with Dame too much, you put Giannis in a one-on-one of the rim, you're dunked on.
You put Giannis in a 3 or a 4-on-3.
Yeah.
It's like over.
You can never trap that.
4-on-3 going downhill.
You can never trap that. I don't know what you do. I really don't. Like, I think switching is going to be what teams have to do.
Yeah.
But
that's all you can do.
You can't go under. You can't trap.
Yeah. And let's say, by the way, let's say somehow you manage to fluster both of those. Yeah, Khris Middleton's in the...
Yeah. So you send help. You got Khris there, one pass away in the strong side corner. And Khris, certainly is not a maestro with the dribble. But you put Khris in these advantage basketball situations, which is what we know Adrian Griffin wants to play. That's what we heard from AJ Green. Like, he's going to eat. Not just shooting. He's going to shoot a lot. Did
AJ know? Did
AJ know? Did Bano know with that two-way comment? I was thinking about that. I was like, oh.
Did Ty know and he just didn't tell us?
I don't think Ty. I think Ty was just loving life, man. But maybe he was in a very good mood. Maybe he did know. I don't think anyone knew.
That's why he wasn't concerned about the free agency comments.
Oh, that's not.
I'm kidding, by the way.
Don't get Ty in trouble. But yeah, I think Khris, not just I don't think he's going to be a stationary shooter by any means. But imagine Khris against closeouts where he can pump fake and kind of get to his other shot. We know Khris is, before Dame was probably one of the best pure passers on the Bucks. I mean, certainly did not have the assist numbers, but Jrue always had the assist numbers. He also had the ball more and would have some pretty bad turnovers, whereas Khris is a very sound passer. Khris now operating on a floor with Dame and Giannis is going to be so good for him, dude.
And Khris Middleton is no longer getting the second best defender.
Yeah.
He's getting the third best defender.
Yeah.
On the team, because your primary focus now, if you're a defense, is Dame and Giannis. It's like Khris Middleton is just it's in the back of your head.
I'm going to make a proclamation right now. Bold Takes University. Khris 50, 40, 90.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's right there for him. I think
agree.
It's going to be, assuming, knock on wood, he's healthier after the knee procedure and taking more time and everything. He's feeling good that way, hopefully. Again, I already knocked on wood. And the kind of looks he is going to get, I think this season is going to be so fun for Khris. I think it's going to be so much fun for Khris.
It's going to be so easy for him.
Offensively. They might even do a little more defensively. And we should talk probably about the fifth starter.
He looks like he's in shape. # muscle wash.
He's sweating all over the place. He's doing fit vids.
Apparently he lost 15 pounds or something.
Really?
Yeah. I might be talking, but I might have read that somewhere.
Well, you're certainly talking either way. We have to do I won't even say annual, more like monthly discussion of who should the Bucks' fifth starter be. There's a lot of options.
They lost my son, who was the penciled-in starter.
Although we did say it's going to be up for grabs with the new coaching staff.
Yeah, but we kind of just assumed it was going to be Grayson because it makes the most sense.
It at least made the most sense next to Jrue. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The whole paradigm has shifted now for what the Bucks need in that spot, and that's why. And I actually ran a poll on this. I'll pull it up, but last time I checked, it was your new son, Marjan Beauchamp, who was leading the way when I asked Twitter who should be the fifth starter. And I do think he's got a shot. I'm not going to pencil him in as my pick or the favorite quite yet. So here's the poll. 301 votes. Who should be the fifth starter? Marjon first, 45.5%. Pat Connaughton second, 34.2%. I put Malik Beasley on here because he's like the other two-guardish guy on the roster. He got about 16%. And other was only 4%. A couple people said Crowder, basically, which I think he's probably the guy who makes the most sense next. I didn't put Jay, though, in case anyone had strong feelings about Bobby, which I didn't expect, and I don't think anyone's there. I think Beauchamp has a chance if two things. He's got to be a more consistent defender and foul less, which Summer League looked good, but it's Summer League. People disagree. He does have to hit open shots. I guess he could start and not close, but if he's going to be truly the fifth guy, if he's going to be a real starter and close games too, you got to hit shots. And that's the thing. I'm seeing all this the young guys can flourish now, don't need shooting, everything else. And I think for sure, over the course of a game, Andre Jackson Jr. is going to be able to play, have a better shot offensively now with a much less cramped floor. And same for Marjon to a lesser extent. But to be really the guy, you do have to hit open shots. And there's going to be open shots on this team for whoever that fifth guy is. You need to knock him down. So for it to be Marjon, he's got to step up defensively and take premier assignments, which I think that would be really fun to watch. And I think he would take that on. He's got to hit open shots too, though. But where are you at on this idea? Who do you think should be the fifth starter, Rohan?
Initially, my when I was talking to Adam and Jordan about this, when we did our emergency pod, I agreed with them who said Pat. Because he makes sense in terms of he knows how to play with Khris and Giannis and Brook. Those lineups are always have been consistently great. They just never played enough. Basically, in those lineups with Jrue, Khris, Giannis, Brook, and Pat. So Pat essentially being the fifth starter. Those lineups were incredible offensively and defensively. So I think it makes sense to slot in Pat. Because one, like I said, Khris and Giannis and Brook know how to play with him. He also does a little bit know how to play with Dame, but I wouldn't really compare the two because he was a completely
Pat the recruiter.
Yeah. That's why they brought Robin Lopez back.
Yeah, they got a lot of Blazer buddies. People undersold that aspect.
Terry Stotts.
Yeah,
Blazers fans. The initial reaction from a lot of Blazers fans was like, man, if Dame and Terry Stotts win a ring, Neil Olshey is just gonna explode or something.
I'm sure they're rooting for that based on how they feel about Neil.
Yeah, for sure. But it makes sense with Pat. After thinking about it the last week, this is gonna it might be Boss Man.
Wow. I'm actually shocked to hear that. I forgot to mention, Boss Man.
For me, especially to say it might be Boss Man.
I love Boss Man. I think no shot.
I think there's a shot. I think there is a shot because even though it's not something he's done recently, it's something he's used to doing, which is taking the premier defensive assignment. He's not necessarily good at it.
I think he's solid at it. I think he's a better wing. I think the playoffs went really bad. I think the regular season he looked awesome.
Went so
I'm not that
bad.
worried about Boss Man. I think a lot of things in the playoffs went bad. I've made this case before, but whatever.
Yes, but I think Boss Man, he could revitalize his career doing that because that's where he made his bread and butter. He was the premier prototypical 3-and-D wing. That was Jay Crowder.
Yes. The problem is, and this is why I'm either Pat or Marjon and nobody else.
Quick.
Yeah, guards.
Not quick enough.
Guards. Guards. I think the guy's going to have to guard guards, whoever it is. I don't think you want Dame every game chasing around, a star guard or the best guard perimeter player. I actually kind of like Marjon. And I think it's really close to me between Pat and Marjon and just letting Pat take those assignments and see what he can do. And I think he's generally a better defender than people think. Of course, he gets beat, but most guys do get beat that aren't, Jrue Holiday or whoever else. I kind of think Marjon should have a good crack at it because they will need that just athletic defender in these lineups. He's just got to hit the shots. And I think would it surprise me at all if Pat closed games? No, not really. Just go and say, we're just going to outscore you now and good luck. But I do think they could use that defender, even if he's more of an opener than a true starter, to just go and hound perimeter small guys. I think Giannis is going to have to guard more wings as part of this for sure. I think that's just going to have to happen. Khris hasn't really He was really bad at times. I thought he stepped up a bit in the playoffs, even though he wasn't great defensively. We've got to hope that he's just part of the better shape is him moving better. And if he's moving better, he can be a solid defender. And then, if you go to like basically Dame is not a great defender, it is what it is. And then everyone else is like average to good or very good in the case of Giannis and Brook. I think you're fine. But I don't think it can be Jay because I just think he's too big. And then, so let's say the Cavs, who are in the division, we'll see them 4 times. What do you do against the Cavs to guard Garland and Mitchell if your starting 5 is Dame, Bossman, Khris, Giannis, Brook?
Yeah, that's fair.
I think you can guard, Boston, the Jays. And I don't think this is ideal, but, Khris and Giannis. Or if Pat wants to take one of them, fine. I think that's better than trying to have Bossman. Just have Bossman come off the bench to be a wing defender. One thing that's interesting.
Before you move on from that,
yeah.
We have seen in the past, I know it's been a few years now.
Yeah.
I know some
Is
guy
this
who's
Thanasis?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was trying to sniff that one out.
I know it's that threw me off. I know it's been a few years now. But one guy who's excelled at chasing guys, Khris Middleton. So if you do want to go like boss man in the starting lineup and sort of size up, you can maybe.
I don't like it. I don't love it.
I don't love it. I don't love it in the year of our basketball Lord 2022.
That's it. In 2019, this was a great plan.
And 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But sorry, continue.
I don't think it's very likely. Malik Beasley could earn this. I think it's very unlikely.
I think it's very, very unlikely.
If he shows up and he's just like, I am just going to hit threes and defend my ass off, there's a shot. I don't think it's likely. I don't want to totally discount it, though, because, again, this is a new coaching staff. They're going to reevaluate all those guys in their own way. And, if we want to talk about, and we're kind of in the same situation where Pat's the middle. You have the defensive option, but instead of West, now it's Marjan. And you have the offensive option, which instead of Grayson, it's Beasley. Now, Beasley's not slow. He's not a great defender, of course, but I don't know. I'd be pretty surprised, but I just want to say it because I do think he is that 2-guard skill set. And I really do think part of the reason Grayson was expendable enough here is because it's like, okay, we have Beasley who can at least do enough of the Grayson stuff that we feel fine about losing him. Do you agree with that?
I think so. I don't know. I just can't see it.
I gotta watch him play more. I haven't seen enough of him play. I really want to see him play in preseason and just see what's the energy level, what's the effectiveness on defense.
I mean, we get it on Sunday, I believe.
No way. Is it really that soon?
It's October 8th, I believe.
Oh my God.
First preseason game against the Bulls.
Poor Bulls.
Yeah.
Remember when they were a damn team? You're right, at noon.
In Fiserv, I believe.
Oh my God. Should I go to this? A question for another time. So I think Bobby is just way too big, right? That's just kind of silly.
Yeah. No, you can't really do Bobby. You can't.
Cam Payne is too small.
Cam Payne is too small.
Yeah. Let's talk about Cam Payne.
Having a Dame Cam Payne starting backcourt is
at least it rhymes.
Yeah, that's true.
Help me on this cron down here. It's kind of funny to put them next to each other as if they're equals, but it does rhyme.
Yeah, they had Dame and Cam Payne. Who cares about Dame? We got Cam Payne, baby. Cameron Payne signing a minimum deal.
Real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I forgot. Ajax? Andre Jackson Jr.?
Maybe, if he shows he can play basketball at a high level.
I think he's more playable in this Bucks team, but I don't think he's... he's just like a rookie, and rookies are rookies, but I just think the shooting is so bad that he could never be a starter. He can prove me wrong. The off-ball movement should be really good now. There's going to be a lot of space. They need the defense. I think he'll have more normal minutes. And we're not this Chris Livingston just seems too raw. AJ Green, it's just tough now. You're just going to trust Malik Beasley more on both sides of the ball, really. So
that's why. Chance, though.
There's a chance. More 2-guard minutes, but there's still a lot of guys at that kind of position on the team.
Yeah. It's why trading Grayson actually made sense.
Yeah. There was a logjam.
If it's you had to trade Grayson or Pat, it was going to be Grayson.
Yeah. He's
unfortunately.
Worse. Yeah.
Fly high, my son.
Cam Payne. Before you do a Grayson teardrop.
I will remember.
I love when Rohan sings. Remember when you used to sing like a whole song in the outro?
Yeah, that's because someone left a review asking me to. That's crazy.
Leave a rating and review.
Let's not remind people of that.
That's true.
But what was I saying? Yeah, the Bucks added Cameron Payne on a 1-year minimum after he was a free agent bought out by the Spurs, I believe.
Yeah, who also bought out Reggie Bullock. They've been busy buying guys out lately.
Yeah, and they still have 19 guys in their training camp roster.
Buy out Wemby.
Yeah, buy out Wemby. Accidentally filed the paperwork wrong.
Oh no!
Oh no! Then he just signs with the Bucks. Can you imagine? That'd be the biggest bag fumble of all time.
Yeah, clearly. No, the Bucks don't have a roster spot. They're not letting TA go for Wemby.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Show me where Wemby was on an all G League defense team. You can't. So
you can't. Maybe he can sign a 2-way if a 2-way slot opens up somehow.
Yeah, he would be eligible.
He would be eligible for a 2-way. But Cameron Payne, very small backup point guard. Bucks fans should be familiar with him from the 2021 Finals when he revitalized his career with the Phoenix Suns after just being known as Russell Westbrook's dance partner in OKC. Those are fun times.
Don't forget, he was also known as not an NBA player in Chicago. So he really did.
Yeah, and then I was going to say, then he went to Chicago, and then
he started in Chicago.
Oh yeah,
they drafted him, and they were like,
"Sorry, you're right."
There was the hilarious quote that they keep putting in the Discord, GSPN.info to join the Discord, of like, we knew by the second practice he wasn't an NBA player,
and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy of a thing to say about a guy who is now in the league and is a depth piece on the title favorites. But yeah, he really revitalized his career in Phoenix, playing next to or behind Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Next to Devin Booker a lot of times because Chris Paul, unfortunately, dealt with a lot of injury bugaboos in his time in Phoenix. But now, as a part of, I forget which trade that the Suns made, gets traded.
They just dumped him. They just dumped him to have a spot and pay less, actually. Kind of surprising.
Yeah. And now he gets bought out. He's waiting around as a free agent for a while. Probably trying to figure out where this point guard carousel ends.
Yeah.
And now he signs with the Milwaukee Bucks, who opened up a roster spot because it was a 2-for-1 trade. And now Ty, after having 0.7 point guards on the roster,
two real ones,
two real point guards.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They have a backup point guard, Ty.
They do. I was not super high on Payne. I just think
neither was I.
He's small, but I think some of that was also while the Bucks didn't have a roster spot open. So the questions were like, could they open up a spot for Cam Payne? It's like, I'm not doing all that for Cam Payne. They end up having an open spot after the Dame deal. And you look it up and it's like, do you feel good about his consistency or efficiency? Maybe not. But when he had to start for Phoenix, he averaged 14.7, nearly 8 assists and 3.4 rebounds. Shot 38% from 3 and 41% from the field. So like in big minutes, he was actually playing pretty well. Like he's a good fill-in. So if Dame is going to miss some time, at all through his Bucks tenure, you do have a guy who can come in and just like, he's a real NBA point guard, right? And they really didn't have that before. Overall for the Suns, he averaged just under 10 points, 4 assists, 2.6 rebounds, shot 38% from 3, 83% from free throw, 43% from the field. He's not a great defender. I don't think he'll ever play with Dame, so who cares? You just have 2 point guards who, you just get used to covering for that spot to a certain extent. But like he's a real productive player, and as much as I love like Lindell, and I'm still high on Ty, and Ty has a chance to win this spot. It's a vet min for Cam Payne. It's not like Amari Moore too, sure. Not like Cam Payne is locked into being a Buck for the next 3 years or anything, but I do think he's going to have a pretty sizable lead on that backup point guard role now over the two-way guys, and he's a good productive player. So getting him for basically free is pretty nice.
And yes, for sure. Getting him for free, it helps a lot. You have someone who can organize the offense, like we've talked about all offseason. Also having Giannis and Khris to really help him with ball handling once Dame is not on the court helps a lot. Also, if one of the two-way guys hits, you now have an expendable roster spot. Yeah.
Trade him, or you can just let him go. One thing that it's free from an asset perspective. This is like an $8 million luxury tax signing. The worst fears of the Jimmy and D Haslam entrance have not come to pass. Like, it has worked out as the optimists had hoped.
Yeah, they're paying. Checkbook. Everyone's paying. Yeah. And that's what you need to do. You have would you agree they have the best duo in the NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see people still saying Murray Jokic because of the playoffs. And as I've long said, I won't argue. I disagree, but I won't argue with giving it to the incumbent champs. I think that's fair. That factor aside, I think it's not even that close.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Who would be next?
Besides Murray Jokic? I don't know. The Jays? AD and LeBron? KD and Book?
KD and Book is probably the closest, actually.
Yeah, KD and Beal?
No. KD and Book is good, and I guess Phoenix does have an argument for big three as well.
I'd say they have the best big three.
I don't think so.
You don't?
I like the Bucks big three better.
Okay.
Personally.
I thought you were going to say because of Ursan. But I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Okay. It's early.
I like Giannis better than any of those guys. I like Dame better than Booker or Beal. I think it's close. Booker's gotten really good. I still like Dame better. And then I think Chris and Beal is close enough that I'll still take the Bucks.
There you go.
I also think the skill sets of the Bucks ones mesh a lot better.
Yeah, because you have a point guard, you have a big, and you have a wing.
All these concerns about are they going to figure this out?
3 shooting guards.
I really hope they can figure this out, man. I don't think it's going to be that hard at all. I think it's going to be.
It's not. It's a seamless fit. It's a seamless fit, Ty. Do you know what this reminds me of?
What?
This reminds me when the Bucks fired the boogeyman Jason Kidd.
Yep.
And Bud came in. All Bucks fans, I think the over under after they had won, I think they had won 41 games or 40 games that last year with Jason Kidd and Joe Prunty at the end, and then they lost to the Celtics in 7. I think the over under the next year when they hired Bud and got Brook Lopez and got an actual roster that made sense. I think the over under was 46.5 wins or something, 45.5 wins. You could hear Bucks fans just screaming from the rooftops. Smash that over immediately because it is going to be a seamless fit getting rid of Jason Kidd and bringing in Mike Budenholzer, getting a roster that makes sense, getting an actual a 3-and-D center, which just doesn't exist. You get an actual wing depth. You get a coach that is going to tell these guys how to actually play basketball. Smash that over. This makes sense. This makes sense for people who have been watching the team game in, game out. This feels very, very similar to that vibe. And the general consensus around the league was, I don't know, how much does Mike Budenholzer really help? How much of an upgrade is he from Jason Kidd? How much of an impact are these new additions going to be? It's like, yeah, they're going to be a massive addition. It feels like that again.
Yeah. I do think generally the reaction to the move is so muted because it's Milwaukee. But this is an insane pairing, and I just the fit could not be more obvious. And
it's the second best possible pairing with Giannis.
Yeah, with Steph being the best, and I think it's it's close enough you could debate. I think Steph is maybe better. We'll see. Steph has had a better situation. I said I would lie about this when the Bucks got Dame. I'm keeping my word. Steph has had a better situation in place his whole career. With Clay and Draymond and Kerr out there, Kerr after Mark Jackson out there. Then Dame has had what? A podcaster / wine guy / failed union representative? That was his second best player ever? Really? Or LaMarcus Aldridge, who they lost to the Spurs?
Forgot about that.
LaMarcus was really good for a couple of years there. Or Wes? Yeah. Wes is easily in the. I think is doubtlessly a top 5 Blazer Dame has ever played with. I love Wes. So. Might be third.
Oh man, does losing Wes now especially hurt?
It does hurt more. I was thinking, and I saw somebody shush that idea. No, they could use him. It would have been nice if.
Yeah, some wing defense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's ancient. He's completely ancient, and I think give Marge on the roll. But
can Adrian Griffin tell AJ to just plant seeds?
Can Adrian Griffin suit up? Might be a question. Get him out there.
Vin Baker can still dunk.
Yeah, that was a fun video. Yeah, Giannis Hakeem totally got washed away by this. Pretty exciting.
It's something that Bucks fans have been clamoring for like a decade.
Okay, Giannis, he's eating brats. Like this, follow these breadcrumbs. Work out with Hakeem. Eating brats. Giannis is going to be a center within 2 years. He's going to weigh 300 pounds.
God, I hope not.
I mean, there's a good way to. I mean, imagine if he was Shaq big.
If he was Shaq big, that would.
Giannis making a couple trips to Germany in the offseason next to Greece. Let's move on. One last thing on Payne. I kind of get Teague vibes.
I'm so glad you said that because I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, man, can he get an A? I thought about this. Can he get an A on the group project?
I think absolutely he can. I think he's talented enough to.
Yeah, it's like, and the thing is, you can rely on him to do more than Jeff Teague.
Oh yeah, at that stage in career, yeah.
Yes.
So how old is Cam Payne? Is he like?
I just saw Sham's notification. My heart dropped.
What is it?
James Harden is not at media day.
Oh yeah, Cam Payne's only 29.
Crazy.
And he just turned 29 in August.
I thought he was younger.
Oh really? He's been around for a while. Young core. Bucks got younger.
They did get younger. I mean,
I think now they got older because Grayson's younger than Cam Payne, right?
Yes.
So they got very slightly older.
Yeah. Jrue is older than Dame though.
By like 3 weeks.
2 months or a month, something months, like that.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Jrue?
I want to do the new look rotation, but let's do Jrue first. Okay. No, I want to get Jrue over with. Not out of disrespect to Jrue. I mean, of course, this was going to end up what happened.
This was worst case scenario, right?
Yeah. But
this was absolute worst case scenario.
We, and more importantly, Horst and the Bucks had to know it was a realistic option and make the deal anyway. I would still do it 10 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100. Like, it's worth getting Dame to let the Celtics give up more stuff for Jrue, more picks for Jrue Holiday. It does suck.
Sucks a lot.
You know, the Clippers were still, I really wanted it to be like the Clippers. Let Jrue carry those guys, hospital-bound players to something meaningful. Anyone out west really would have been fine. Clearly, it wasn't going to be Miami because they can't get on the phone with Portland at all. So, of course, it ends up Boston. Boston came in with a strong offer, 3 total firsts, and Brogdon and Robert Williams. I was like, oh, my God, traded Robert Williams in this deal. Never healthy, but when he was probably their best defensive player the year Marcus Smart won DPOY. Now, Jrue Holiday is clearly their best defensive player. I think their team is weirder than people think.
I think it is very, very weird. It's very, like, they don't have an actual bench.
Yeah. Peyton Pritchard, fast PP, is now their best bench player? Horford, old Horford.
Horford's going to start.
How?
I mean, you have to do, like, I assume you do Jrue, the Jays, Horford, Porzingis, unless you want to put Derek White.
I thought Derek White would start.
I think you have to move Derek White to the bench.
Oh, I don't like that very much. So now Pritchard's still your third point guard?
I guess so. He's going to request a trade for the
He is going to request a trade again. So Sam Hauser and my guy O'Shea Brissett are going to be like their bench wings.
I guess so. Or maybe you do start Jrue and Derek White. But it's like Derek White was there because you don't have a point guard who can defend. And now you have Jrue Holiday. Like the best in the business at it.
I just feel like they have all of their best perimeter players, the Jays, Jrue, and Derek White. They all, to a certain extent, need the ball. Like, they're all better with the ball than without the ball. And if you want to push back, I urge you, like, on reputation alone, you wouldn't think this. Go look at the Jays shooting numbers. Like, playoffs and regular, like, they're not elite 3-point shooters.
They're not playoff risers.
And they're not elite 3-point shooters in any aspect. I think Tatum's a little better. Brown's been very inconsistent. Like, those guys really like to be on the ball. Like, Jrue Holiday can do some stuff off the ball. I think is more useful on the ball. Defenses aren't going to really fear him off ball. And then White, I kind of feel bad for Derek White. I think he's like going to be the most talented player to average like 14 points per game or less this season, or offensive player, I should say. It's so funny. I feel like he's going to have a playoff series where he averages like 16 points. It's going to be like a 42-point game where he actually gets the ball. And then he's going to have like 5-point games because they forget he exists. I think Missoula's an offensive guy, and they went offensive. They have Porzingis now too, of course. But I think the offense is going to be a little hard to figure out, and I don't trust their coaching staff to do it. And defensively and just like spacing wise, like letting Grant walk, to me, like this makes so much more sense if they have Grant Williams still.
It does.
And that was like they just got some second round picks. Like if they had him as a bench wing and just a spacer, just like a guy who just like offensively never needs the ball except when he's pulling up from three. That's all he has to do. Who on their team is like that anymore? Luke Cornett? Sam Hauser?
I guess.
Like, I just, like, their starting lineup, either way, I guess Horford kind of, but, like, they just don't, the skill sets don't seem like a good mesh. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe they'll win 65 games. Who knows? I look at their team and I go, that's a lot of talent there. Their top five is really, really good. I don't think their top five fits together all that well. I don't think it's going to be easy for them to figure it out, especially because, like, Jaylen Brown is not a good passer. Tatum will forget to pass for a couple possessions. Derek White is, I don't know if he's ever going to have the ball. Jrue Holiday is like a very off and on offensive player. I think they have a weird team. I still wish Jrue hadn't gone there, to be clear.
I still wish, because Jrue does make their team better.
He gives them a defender they sorely needed.
He does. And it's like, if you're getting rid of Malcolm Brogdon, and I guess Robert Williams. Like
I think that's a big deal. I mean,
that the Robert Williams piece is the big piece, because, sorry, Brogdon, it's not you.
Yeah.
Like you're upgrading at that position if you're trading Malcolm Brogdon for Jrue Holiday. Like massive upgrade. Again, I love Jrue Holiday as a person and player. I'm sad Boston was on his list. I'm sure he felt slighted, but
oh yeah, and he wants to win.
Or he's a sleeper agent.
That would be fun. Yeah, every Bucks fan immediately said, "Oh, he's going to shoot 60% from three in a Bucks series now against the Celtics." Maybe it goes the other way.
Yeah,
probably not.
Maybe he suits up for the Bucks and shoots 60% against the Celtics.
Literally impossible, but I would take it.
Keeps his Bucks uniform, has it on underneath his, like the first game in Fiserv, he just has it, and he just takes the jersey up and reveals a Bucks jersey. He starts playing 6-on-4.
I wonder how much trouble you get in for that. Let's find out.
Adam Silver's gonna choke. Adam Silver's gonna come down.
David Stern would. Adam Silver's weak. He's not doing that. I say, player empowerment. I think it's good.
It's an interesting standpoint that Jrue took at that game. We want to support him and his messaging.
Yeah.
But we also want to consider
players have rights too.
Yeah, we also want to determine how it affects the game of basketball being played. I want Joe Mazzulla to keep putting him in these situations to make these decisions, but we have to have a conversation about how this is impacting the league.
Back to the midseason tournament, what I really am here to talk about. I'm excited for this
midseason tournament. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. So excited for the Bucks to be the first one to win.
Yeah. That would be fun. I think they're going to have the best crunch time offense in the league now, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, they're going to have the best anytime offense in the league.
Yeah, I can't wait.
They're going to have this is a Bucks team. It's going to be a weird shift. Like, we talked a lot about how the Celtics have had to shift their mentality with acquiring Kristaps Porzingis. The Bucks are making a similar shift in the sense that they are shifting from a very, very defensive first or like defensive oriented team. Like, this is a team that grinds out possession, wins on defense, to, okay, now if you don't have a top 3 offense in the league, it's a failure.
Yeah.
It's a massive shift. The difference is we've clowned the Celtics about that. And not clowned, but we said it's going to be difficult for them. And we've said that because they're adding a player of Kristaps Porzingis caliber. The Bucks are adding a player of Damian Lillard caliber. Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah. That is, there's levels to this shit.
Well, the other difference is the Bucks still have a 2-time DPOY in Giannis and last year's runner-up, one-time DPOY Giannis and a last year's runner-up in Brook Lopez on the back line. So it's not like their defense is just going to be bad. I mean, they still have elite defensive personnel.
Defenses start and end with rim protection.
Yes.
And the Bucks' rim protection did not change in the slightest.
No. So I think you're gonna have to figure out the
literally
perimeter defense.
2 first team all defense.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah. So I mean, feel good about that.
Hurts. It hurts so much losing Jrue defensively. You still have 2 first team all defense.
It doesn't hurt in the aggregate. I'll say that. I feel for Jrue.
No,
it does hurt.
They've upgraded.
Yeah.
They have upgraded. I will miss Jrue sorely, and it's like, again, I wish you would have gone in the West, man. The Clippers, it would have been the funniest possible outcome.
That would have been. I would have rooted for it.
Oh, then you buy out Chris Paul and have him as the backup point guard.
Well, I think Chris Paul goes in the deal, but yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the Blazers buy out Chris Paul.
Sorry, Cam. I guess have both. Have Cam for when Chris Paul gets inevitably hurt.
I know, but then also like it would have been the best outcome because then let's say Jrue goes to the Clippers. I guess it still worked out this way, but maybe not because the Clippers still could trade for James Harden. But then it takes James Harden and the Clippers completely off the board, and it's like, what do they do now?
I think they're still off the board. I don't think they have anything to do. They're not doing it. I think the reason I think they didn't get Jrue as well. I think Ballmer and Lawrence Frank over there are looking at these two guys, and they're extension eligible. They haven't signed anything. They're like, can we keep giving up picks for these guys who don't play basketball games?
No.
A podcaster and I don't even know what word to use to describe Kawhi. It sucks. Like I don't think it's a wrestling
ambassador.
Yeah, he just isn't able to stay healthy. The rotation quickly, probably not that quickly. Having too much fun. So, Dame, a 2-guard. Chris, Giannis, Brook, clearly. And then the bench, you have Cam Payne at the 1, Bobby at the 4-5, Boss Man at the 3-4, and then you have 3 spots basically. Are we thinking Pat, Marjan, Malik Beasley?
One of those. I think we are thinking those 3. I think
it's Pat, the roster. Am I forgetting anyone? That would be 10. If they play 10, we don't know how many they're going to play. That's another question. How many minutes, everything. But despite like what the Raptors did under known psychopath Nick Nurse, I don't think the Bucks are going to play these guys 36, 37 minutes a game. I really don't. I would be pretty surprised.
Yeah, I would be too, especially in the regular season, especially when you have like these 2 guys like in Giannis and Dame. I mean, like Dame, knock on wood, hasn't dealt with major injuries in a while. Another thing we saw in the Chris Haynes thing is the last 10 games that Dame missed last season was not actually due to a calf injury. It was due to the Blazers shutting him down, saying, "Hey, can we get a better draft pick?"
So, no, go ahead.
Sources told Chris Haynes. So Damian Lillard told Chris Haynes.
Aaron Goodwin. So he did the year before, he still just played 29. He had the abdominal issue that really hampered him that year. It looked like he had declined. And then this past season, we didn't even include this anywhere. 32.2 points, 7.3 assists, 4.8 rebounds, 46% from the field, 37% from 3, 57% from 2. He had probably his best season ever. So I think the abdominal issue is feeling good for Dame. But yeah, if you add 10 games on, that goes from 58 to 68 last year. So then outside of the 1 year where he dealt with serious injuries, he's played a ton of games every year. So really, it was like one issue that really hampered him. He got back from. The lowest total outside of last year's 58 was 2 in the 60s, but I believe these were both COVID years. They were. So he played in the 60s, but they played games like 72 games or whatever in both years. So he's missed less than 10 games in every season except for these last 2. And one of them, again, and I think everyone knew this, but it was still shocking to see it put out there so plainly. The Blazers were like, hey, take 10 games off. So it would have been 68, which is only pretty average for most players these days.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair to say. But yeah, I don't think they play heavy minutes. Like you want to be careful too. Like you don't want to risk it because it's like the Bucks, they got more top heavy now.
Yeah.
Did they actually?
I don't know.
Did they get more top heavy?
I mean, their top is heavier just because it's like more significant. And they did lose a little depth overall.
They did lose depth.
They lost Grayson, but they lost depth at the position they could probably afford at most.
Yeah, that's fair.
And they added a point guard. I think the roster is more like it
makes more sense.
It makes a lot more sense. Like I think that top 10, you feel pretty good at. Like let's rank them. Let's do this because I think that's a better way to get a feel for how much we trust the roster. Yep.
Dame.
Yeah. No, so okay. Let's just stop. Like first off, just take another moment here. Fucking Giannis, Dame, and Khris on the same team.
Damian Lillard is far and away the second best player on this team.
That's crazy. Never happened before.
Damian fucking Lillard Dame time.
32 and 7.
He's your second best player. And he knows it too. He also mentioned that in the Chris Haynes article. There's going to be no questions about that, which is good. That's good to hear.
Oh yeah. That's the nice. He's still gonna have the ball a ton because of who Giannis is. So it's not like it really matters. But yeah, it was cool to see. There's no question about whose team it is.
He was like, yeah, I'm coming in here. I'm playing with a guy where it's like he's better than me. And it's like, okay, yeah, you know ball, dude.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, one thing, just because we're close to it, on like the keeping Giannis front, this move itself, I think shielding Giannis from it is important and does matter. Like the Bucks front office under Horst post Kid has always strived to put Giannis in a positive light. We joked about the Brat video that he or the Bucks or whoever posted earlier, but I did kind of like double take at what he said actually in that video. I mean, it was shocking. He'd never had a Brat. It's like kind of surprising. I think he just eats at the facility. Well, you're a vegetarian, so it's slightly different. I almost for a second I was like, what? Oh yeah, of course you don't. Pretty good. I love a Brat, but whatever. He said when people ask me where I'm from, I say Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The signs are looking good. Is anyone worried about the podcast anymore? We weren't that worried in the first place. Certainly not worried about it right now.
He was like, I've been here 10 years now. It's like, man, like, especially after the last, like, again, we've talked this to death, but like the last couple public comments he's made.
Yeah.
It's like, is this team all in? Is this team all in? Again, fair. We've talked about this. Very, very fair. Very, very fair of a position for him to put the Bucks in because he is a once in a generation player. Once in a like not even generation. Like there've been like how many guys like there have been like Giannis ever? It's crazy. Once in like forever type player in Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah,
you deserve to be able to put that pressure on an organization because you are that guy. Like, it's fair. It's fair. We've talked about this before. We don't need to relitigate that. Sorry, I feel like you want to say something.
No. You're good. You were spitting there. I feel like some of the framing, and I had to turn off the low post because I just could not disagree more, and I was frustrated.
I did the same.
The idea that like the Bucks had to go get Dame, or like no one thought like they were going to go into the season. I don't think they felt like they had to do something before this season. Like they were still a contender. I think
they took advantage of an opportunity.
Exactly. And I think that is what happened. I don't think Horst was going to trade Jrue somewhere in like the last week because he had to make the move for fucking Dame Lillard became available. Like, what are we talking about? What, like, there's just this like
Aaron Goodwin told Jon Horst like, "Hey, Dame wants to come play for you."
Yeah, and we'll take Dame. Yeah, no shit. Like, there's just this weird, like everything with the public framing of the Bucks is like they had to do this and their future's dead, and they had to because bully Giannis pushed Jon Horst and said go trade all the assets.
Celtics or not the Celtics. If the
Celtics are a good example because Tatum wanted them. If the Celtics had made the same trade. Oh my God! They're the best team of all time. They are.
Why even play this season?
They made this shrewd move that no one else could have ever seen coming. And the Bucks go get Dame for 1 pick, 2 swaps, and Jrue, who's awesome, but not Dame. And it's like, oh, they really had to do this. No, you got Dame. No one has to get Dame.
Fuck off! Like honestly,
insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane ridiculous. The way this is perceived. They got the perfect Giannis running mate.
It's the only thing that can happen, Ty, is when the Bucks go scorched earth this season.
I think it's coming.
When they are far and away prove what we already know that they're the far and away best duo in the NBA.
Yeah, and the best trio, which you weren't even here for. We'll revisit this topic. I think down the line.
We will. I would be happy to.
I know you would. But I just think it's insane to view this as anything but like. Let's use a cruising for the bruising reference. Playoffs start soon, so make sure to go subscribe. Do you know
who's throwing out the first pitches? That was announced.
No,
Game 2. Game 1, Bob Uecker.
Nice.
Game 2,
good.
Niger Morgan.
Oh, cool. I thought Dame was going to be one of them, but those are good. Those are good guys to do it too. That's awesome. Yeah. Tony Tombstone, Tony Plush. Subscribe to Cruising for a Bruising wherever you're listening to this podcast. What was I going to say before? Oh, to view the Bucks getting Damian Lillard as anything but a bottom of the 9th walk-off grand slam in the World Series is insane. Like, there's an element, I guess if bottom of the 9th, there is some desperation, but it's like it's such a clear win.
A tie game in the bottom of the ninth.
Sure, there we go. Yeah, there you go. That's a good call. It's such a clear win. And even with the Celtics getting Jrue, like, they got Dame. Like, this is the guy we always wanted. I mean, we wanted Steph too, but this is really the guy that we were always like, that would be so good. Even more of an on-ball player. I mean, Steph can do it, but like, their whole thing is like the movement, everything. Like, we've seen Dame on ball. Like, that is, you watch what he does in Portland, and that's exactly what the Bucks have always needed. And they went and got him. And to view that as like, oh, they had to do it. Are you insane? Like, what are we talking about with basketball? They have none of their picks for the next 7 years. Who gives a shit about these high school kids and middle school kids? If we're talking about 2030,
you guys are getting angry over like sixth graders.
Yeah, I don't care about some 6'5" kid who's got a jumper right now. We got a 6'4" Damian Lillard on the Bucks.
What's the best case scenario for that sixth grader? He turns into Damian Lillard.
And what's the worst case? I don't even want to say it. I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone. I'm in a good mood. Although I'm in a bad mood now, thinking about all this, is it who's the real winner of the day? This is when I turned off the low post. He goes, who's the big winner of the Dame trade, Bobby? This is before Jrue even, which it's still insane to not say the Bucks who got Damian fucking Lillard. Who's the real winner, Bobby? And he goes, what'd he say? I think he said Portland, because now they get to trade Jrue. And I was just like, they lost their best player in franchise history. The Bucks got Dame Lillard. They still have Giannis.
How is it not a clear? It's going to be so funny again when people realize what Bucks fans have realized since the get-go. Just that this is the best case scenario.
Yeah,
this is best case scenario.
It should have been impossible how good it is. Like, it shouldn't be possible it took this very weird Joe Cronin Miami Dame situation. And the Bucks and Jon Horst, credit to him again, just said, we can get in here and make this. No one thought. People laughed at us for suggesting the Bucks would even try to get involved. Here they are. Eric Name just shared Bucks Media Day starts at 11. It's 9 right now. I'm going to try to get this out before Media Day starts so people aren't going, oh, did you react to this? No, we posted it before. But real quick, the rotation. So Giannis, Dame, Khris, Brooke, right? And then I would probably say Pat and Bobby. Yeah. We're not talking about starters. We're talking about the order of players.
Pat, Bobby, Bossman, Marjon, Malik Beasley.
Sure. I'm not going to bicker with exact order. I just want to do the exercise to see, like, how do we really feel about the depth? So Khris is your clear third best player, is very good. You could argue he's been there before. I think it's always been a little bit up for debate. And in the playoffs, he had a better offense. He had a better playoffs than Jrue, hands down. And I think everyone shares Khris was a 15-point per game player last season. Is Khris going to get back to form, or are they just stuck with a 15-point per game player? I've seen this so many places, and I just think it's kind of bizarre to not look at, the last time we saw Khris, he was a 24-6-6 player against Miami in 5 games. 23.8 points, 6.4 rebounds, 6.2 assists. He shot 40% from 3 and 50% from 2 in that series. Like, the last time we saw Khris, he looked awesome. And he's now got a full offseason. He looks like he's in better shape than ever. I don't get this idea that, maybe Khris comes back and he's just like a 15-point per game player now. Khris is Khris. I'm not going to doubt that. So Khris is third best. Brooke is fourth, still rocks. I think Pat is fifth, is still very good. People will say they prefer Derek White or whatever. That's fine. Pat is your fifth best player, is good. Bobby Portis at 6, Boss Man at 7, and then like Marjon, Malik Beasley 8, 9, and then Cam Payne 10. That's a pretty good 10-man, I think. I think that's a very good depth.
It is real depth. It is real depth. The one thing we knew the Bucks had depth, and again we talked about this. They lost Grayson Allen, which just impacts their depth. We weren't really like concerned about the depth. We were worried about the depth at the point guard position. To be clear, like. Obviously, we knew this Bucks team had depth. We just thought, like, at one singular position, there was a hole. And there was a massive hole. But the Bucks filled that massive hole. They just... Yeah. I'm going to do it.
Oh, come on. I was going to let that one slide.
But that position of need was, like, it was taken care of.
And also, like, if you want to... go ahead.
Yeah, like all summer we keep on forgetting, the Bucks actually got like Malik Beasley on the minimum. Like they still have Pat, they still have Bobby. Like this is still good depth on the team. We keep forgetting Boss Man's on the team. It's like, is he still
Sorry,
there?
boss man. Come on the pod.
Come on the pod. Ty wants you to come. Yeah. Listen to Ty. It's crazy. Like, it's good depth. I'm not going to say it's crazy depth. It's not like they have like.
It's very good.
It's very good
I
depth.
think you will not find many better 10-man groups across the league. I think across the league.
Yeah, across the league. I'm saying not in the East. Like, Boston's depth got way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
Miami's got a lot worse.
Miami is the biggest loser of this entire thing. Like, put them on a weight loss competition on NBC because they are the biggest loser. Like, it's
Rohan
like,
Fallon. But
thank you. Actually, I don't want to be Jimmy Fallon.
No, yeah, be careful.
Yeah. We treat everyone at GSPN fair.
Yeah. Andrew takes a lot of shots.
But he's also the best guy.
Yeah. He's also given out to Andrew. We love you, Andrew.
We love you so much, Andrew. What was I even saying? Oh, yeah. So if you're Miami, you lose depth. Like 2 starters. Well, I'll say 1 starter because they get Tyler Hero back. One of them was starting just because Tyler Hero's out. I'll say you lose 1 starter. You lose a starter for nothing.
Your best shooting wing.
Your best shooting wing for nothing.
Yeah.
You think all summer long you're getting Damian Lillard. You don't. The 2 guys who were allegedly going to sign once Dame gets traded in Kelly Oubre and Christian Wood, you don't get.
Yeah.
You don't get either of them. Another star point guard becomes available in Jrue Holiday.
Don't even try.
In the aftermath of the Damian Lillard trade, you still have another shot. You don't get him either.
Too busy texting beat reporters to call Portland deplorable.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
That was crazy.
Crazy.
That was absolutely crazy. You can't do that to the shit. You can't.
They literally they got the Trump admin playbook out for this, and it worked out about as well.
It's like, what is Miami like? Who can they even get now? Harden. And
he would die.
The thing.
He would die in their training camp. He won't make it. There. They run also, so much.
They also said, I think one Miami outlet said they are not flat out.
They're
not
too
interested.
Good. They're too good. I mean, when you can open up those minutes for Duncan Robinson, you've got to do it. He had a good playoffs. I won't lie, but
we can't really say anything about Duncan Robinson anymore.
Yeah,
but after he shot 75% from 3 against the Bucks, I'm not making that up. By the way, that's a real thing that happened. But yeah, it's Miami's the biggest loser. Absolutely, they are. They have to go into their training. I know we have some Heat fans listening. I'm sorry, I have to do this anyway. This is a Bucks podcast. You should have known what you're walking into. I feel for you. They have to look themselves in the face. They have to go do media day. Just with a worse version of the roster that they had at the end of last season. And again, you made the finals last season. Very, very successful season. Like, yeah, sure. Jimmy got older. Kyle Lowry got older. You lose a starter. You gain another non-spacing wing to add to your depth alongside Jimmy and Bam. And Tyler Hero back helps. Tyler Hero comes into training camp just knowing that they couldn't trade him.
Yeah, again.
And he's like, even he's joking on Twitter. It's like, man, he's survived all these trade requests. And then he's like, until next year. Yeah. Because he knows he's going to be thrown in there again. It's like, even he wants a Dame jersey. Mr. Greenfield himself, not Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Greenfield,
this whole debate, it's easier for people who don't know the area. Wow, the word near Milwaukee, it really makes it much harder to explain, doesn't it?
Yeah. I guess it's technically a suburb of Milwaukee, if you want to say that.
It's Milwaukee County. Like that, no one means the county.
Yeah.
No one means the
Bay
county.
Is Milwaukee County.
Yeah.
Do you really want to go down that path? Like, no.
People are ridiculous.
Greenfield is not Milwaukee. Like, it's a suburb of Milwaukee. Yeah, I'll give you that. 100% it is.
Same.
It's not Milwaukee,
it's not even same, just different.
Yeah. It's,
anyway.
Yeah. But shout out to him for wanting a Bucks Dame jersey, I guess.
He wants to be here, too. He's the new Victor Oladipo. Don't forget, they always got a guy who will be pictured in the Hall of Fame boxing out on LeBron's shot, Thomas Bryant.
They did get Thomas.
Future sort of Hall of Famer.
When you said picture, I'm not going to even say what I was going to. I'll tell you.
Okay. All right. Back to the original point. They probably had too many 2 guards.
They did.
Like, were they going to be able to play? But at least now we can put them all in a 10-man that makes sense. Like, would they have really been able to play Grayson, Pat, Beasley, Marjon? all in a rotation.
Make very, very small lineups.
Yeah, and be low on ball handling. And I think the other thing too, it's kind of silly to talk about in a post-Dame trade world, but how often have we said like enough ball handling off the bench is an issue, and we didn't want to spend a premier asset on it because like with Ingles, maybe that guy won't play much in the regular season.
Why do you think George Hill was such an integral part of this Bucks team?
Well,
because he was just a solid ball handler off the bench.
And Ingles was
also,
that too.
By the way, the Cam Payne signing is official.
Oh, cool. So he'll probably be at media day.
Yep. Oh, God. Is Jimmy Butler really wearing hair extensions again?
Oh, boy. He likes to do it for the picture.
It's straight hair, too.
I'm not fashionable enough to even make a comment. But
Jimmy's such a cool guy. Sorry. I saw this. Okay. We have to talk about it.
Sure. Okay.
It's like Jimmy's a cool guy. I just don't know what he's doing at these media day things.
Oh, the Bucks training camp roster's out.
Oh, that's
Marcus Bolden. Did we know Marcus Bolden? Yeah, we did, right?
Did we?
I think we did. Yeah, no real surprises. Drew Timme, future Herd player.
Yeah, he was at the Packers. Yeah, he was at the Packer game. I think a few weeks ago.
So the 4 Exhibit 10s are Bolden, Gortman, Timme, and then I think the last one is Alex Antetokounmpo, but he's not. He's already been waived. That exciting. Can't wait for the Herd season too. Still, we're gonna get
is it a 20 or 21 man?
21 man.
Okay, so there are 4 Exhibit 10s. Okay.
No, but there's 3 2-ways, so that's why it's.
So it's
they're
only
not all listed.
It's only 3 Exhibit 10s.
Well, the other one's already. It's Alex.
Oh yeah.
They signed and waived Alex Antetokounmpo.
Yep. You're right.
He'll be in Oshkosh as well. What was I going to say? Oh, but they just needed like more regular season ball handling is good. And obviously you're not going to start him with Dame and Giannis and Khris, but when those guys aren't on the floor, you're not playing them as much. Like Ingles was really helpful last regular season. It didn't translate to playoffs very much, but those regular season games where he was able to just juice the offense a little bit from that bench role mattered. And I think getting Payne, it's gonna help more than Grayson would have, because Cam Payne is like a 10-7 kind of player. It's like it's useful to have, even if you're not going to trust him very much in huge games. I think playoffs maybe more of a Teague role, but regular season I do think he'll be helpful, even though I'm not super high on him. I kind of wanted Bullock more, but then looking at the roster again, I was like,
They needed a point guard.
They did. They could use more defense, but I don't know if Bullock is like this insanely great defender either.
I think also this is not going to be the Bucks'
final roster. Yeah.
No. It never is. Like, if there's anything we know about Jon Horst, like this is like Jon Horst does 2 things very, very, very well. Not more than just 2 things, but like these 2 things very, very, very well. Swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
Just absolutely crushing meatballs like 2,000 feet into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like that's 2,000, like 600 feet. That's hyperbolic enough.
Yeah.
600 is hyperbolic enough. Like it's Barry Bonds leaving the stadium type things.
Yeah.
And he will get you a defensive wing at the trade deadline.
That's true. That's a great point.
He will, no matter what. He can, the Bucks. He could be the GM of the Bucks. Knock on wood. Hopefully, this isn't for 20 years. When they're just bad, they're winning 5 games a year, and he's still the GM somehow. He's gonna go get you like whatever the equivalent of Dorian Finney-Smith is at the trade deadline, guaranteed. It's like a tick. He has to do it.
If things go really bad in Philly, is old friend PJ Tucker going to be available?
Oh, bro, the things I can't. I know this is an explicit pod, but there's still some things I can't say.
Whoa, yeah, that's careful there. But I mean, I think player wise, that would be a very nice fit. He's expensive; it would cost Bobby or Pat. That's the issue, but
he'll find a way to get it done. He'll create like a $20 million trade exception.
Sixers buy out PJ Tucker. PJ, ask out.
Who knows? Maybe they buy out James Harden. And
you know what? I'll be a nerd and I don't know if PJ makes more than MLE. The new buyout rules restrict who the Bucks could add that way, which may be part of the reason.
Does that kick in this year or next year?
This year.
Ah, shoot.
But it's got to be over MLE, and it's got to be actually regular season. So Sixers, you have like a few weeks, buy out James Harden. James Harden. James Harden too.
Yeah,
and PJ Tucker.
Buy out James Harden. That's fine. Sorry, Cam Payne, you're getting waived again.
No, imagine the starting 5 is just Dame, Harden, Khris, Giannis, and this is what pundits would say. Not a lot of defense there in Milwaukee. Kind of worried about the chemistry.
Do they have the depth to really compete here? I think about that. They have a starting five full of literally all-stars. But I don't know if they can actually do it. They have a literal all-star starting lineup. I don't know if they can do this.
I've always said AJ Green was really important to what that team did. And the fact that they had to let him go in the move, that doesn't sit right with me.
It's just like, I don't know. Like we talked about this before, but Wesley Matthews, was he the key piece to this Milwaukee Bucks team? Atlanta's really got it going for them this season. I think Atlanta's the team to watch. Fuck off, Atlanta.
I really wonder, what is he going to do to Thanasis' role here? And is that going to make Giannis leave in a month? Literally 1 month. He's going to quit the NBA because maybe.
Is Giannis going to go back to Greece? He's talked a lot about when he retires, he's going to go live in Greece. You're never going to hear from him. Is that happening next?
Right now?
On the low post. So,
yeah.
Also, a new thing. Is Giannis he's officially a 7-footer now? Is that news?
I don't know, man. Woj reported Wenyen Gabriel's a 7-footer, so I'm not going to believe any height watch. No, if he'd be certified NBA for years now if it was.
Wenyen Gabriel's 6'7" on a good day.
Yeah. I'll give him 6'8", but he's not a 7-footer. Love you, Wenyen.
I love Wenyen Gabriel.
People were very confused.
Absolute herd legend.
Yeah. People were very confused because I tweeted, how many times will the Celtics break my heart today because they signed him to a camp deal the same day as adding Jrue. And everyone's like, what is this? Were the Bucks going to? I was like, no, he's a former herd guy. I love Wenyen Gabriel. Great guy. Not 7 foot, but great guy.
Yeah. He's not a 7-footer. He's very good at what he does, though. Yeah. He plays like he's 7 feet. I'll tell you that much.
He does. Good big defender.
Yeah. Also, one thing is this. Oh, no. You know what the ESPN headline is going to be? Adidas Nike rift in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be fun. Adidas is gonna have to try in Milwaukee now because they never had a shot.
Yeah.
Because obviously Giannis is one of the faces of Nike.
Yeah.
And now, but the absolute face of Adidas is here now.
Yeah, it's pretty. Is the other biggest one there Harden?
Yeah.
And he's not showing up, so that's not.
No, also the Dame signature shoe is Adidas' best signature shoe by far. The Dame 4s were my favorite Dames.
Yeah.
It's like
I feel like I need to get some Dame gear now.
Yeah, I feel like I do too.
Does Dame press vinyls? I'm streaming a lot of Dame Dollar. I hope everyone else is too.
We said we're going to make his albums go platinum.
We got to make. He hasn't. I think we'll have to do the next one. I'm going to just play it 24/7.
Yeah, just on a loop. Get a bunch of bots to do it.
Yeah. No. A bunch of Bucks fans.
Yes.
He's got some good songs, and I love Dame Dollar. I think he's the best rapper in the game, the best point guard in the game.
Best rapper in Milwaukee?
Dude, the first Dame feat Ishtar song, he's going to go crazy.
Can you imagine?
It's entirely possible.
Can you imagine? Is it Dame featuring Ishtar, or is it Ishtar featuring Dame?
I'm gonna guess Ishtar is the guest. I'm gonna guess Dame is not going on an Ishtar.
Who do you think charges more for features, Ishtar or Dame?
Probably Ishtar. The custom plate does not buy itself, Rohan.
Custom plate.
Now that we're talking about Ishtar again, shout out to Ishtar, a true Milwaukee legend.
I wonder if Ishtar listens to the pod.
I'm gonna guess no. I think we would have heard from Ishtar.
Also, if we're wrapping up, shout out to the listener in the Starbucks reserve in Chicago who bought me and my girlfriend a cake.
That's very nice.
Yeah,
was the cake
who wanted to remain anonymous. But shout out to you, and I appreciate you being a listener. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a very sweet.
That's nice.
Yes.
I drove past someone on a scenic highway in New Hampshire. They were biking. They had a Giannis shirt on. And I really wanted to roll down the window and be like, do you listen to the Gyro Step? It's a great pod. That's my unbiased opinion, but I let them bike in peace.
It's a tough move. I guess it's easier in Maine. When I was in Europe this summer, I saw someone with a Bucks backpack. I went up to them, said, "Go Bucks." They looked at me with the most confusing face.
Yeah, they just liked how it looked.
They just liked how it looked.
I saw a woman in Acadia, and I thought it was Bucks gear. It looked just like the Bucks logo. And I looked closer, thankfully, before I said anything. And it was like 10-point deer or something. But I was like, what kind of knockoff weird? I just kept it mushing. I combined moving and pushing. I kept it moving and pushing. I kept it pushing. But that was odd. But yeah, I think now that we've done our random shout-outs,
I think we're done here. Let's wrap this up.
This qualifies as one of your crazy fever dreams coming true.
Oh, 100%. Like, you guys keep telling me I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not actually crazy. I have to take my tinfoil hat on because I'm on camera, but like, that's a joke, by the way. I don't actually wear it. People might believe me.
5G Rohan.
But no, I mean, anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. Damian Lillard is a Milwaukee Buck at the same time that Giannis is. You have two surefire Hall of Famers as your duo who are still in their prime.
And Chris So much depth.
So much depth. You have a great team around Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's crazy. It's crazy. We're gonna have more.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said we're gonna have more stuff for you coming after Media Day. But Ty, what do you want to say?
For all the Evan Turner, nobody wants to come play in Milwaukee.
Fuck you, Evan Turner.
I mean, Dame won, but also because of this depth that we're talking about, Malik Beasley, Jay Crowder, and Cam Payne all on vet minimum.
Yeah.
I think some people want to play here. I don't know. Evidence is mounting.
Though.
What?
One of those is very believable.
Which one?
I won't.
I think those are all good additions. Those guys could. I would have not been surprised if any of those guys got more.
I would be surprised if Cam Payne got more.
He was making quite a bit from Phoenix.
I know, but if he was he was a free agent, but like.
Well, yeah, but when you're a free agent after a buyout, regardless. Yeah, pretty good team. I don't know if ever, we're going to preview the Central and Pacific divisions. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Pacific, very good. Central, Bucks, very good. Cavs pretty damn good, too.
Good, yeah.
Pacers, fun.
Bulls, bad.
Bulls,
Pistons,
very bad. Pistons, very,
surprising.
very bad. No,
Pistons, surprising.
Bad.
Pistons,
okay.
Cade MIP incoming.
Dame MIP.
My God. Even though he just had the best season of his career.
50 and 30. Assists.
Giannis MIP. We're underrating Giannis in this thing.
Chris MIP.
Giannis is like
15 point per game player. Khris Middleton might surprise.
Oh my God, he's could average 30. But the thing is, like, we haven't really talked about the Giannis aspect of this as a player. Like, Giannis is gonna go up a level.
Dude, it's gonna be so easy for him.
Giannis is gonna go up a level just by the
without even factoring in his own improvement. Just the situation. But we know he's gonna get better too. I could go another half hour on this. We should wrap. We'll do it. We'll do a full dive on. We should do a full Giannis and Dame, how it's going to look pod. We'll do so much.
We should.
But we'll do Media Day. We'll do preseason games. We're going to do a lot. So stay tuned. I'll stop now before I hijack the outro.
Stay tuned for that. I will say that one of the funniest ESPN, or I don't know if it was, I think it was an ESPN graphic. It's like who's gonna succeed most with their new team. This was before the Jrue Holiday thing. I think it was like Damian Lillard to the Bucks. Jrue Holiday to the Celtics, or no, I think it was Chris Paul to the Warriors, and Marcus Smart to the it was pre-Jrue. It was Dame to the Bucks, Bradley Beal to the Suns.
Okay,
and then Chris Paul to the Warriors and Marcus Smart to the Grizzlies. It's like, which one's gonna have a bigger impact? It's like, how'd the last two make it? how'd you make the cut on this?
Yeah, that's insane.
But this has been a fun emergency pod part 2, I guess, because Ty, you finally got
delayed emergency.
You got to give your thoughts, and I'm sure people were clamoring for your thoughts, Ty.
Well, I mean, listen, I think you guys covered it excellently, but I think more so than any external people, I have been clamoring to give my thoughts. So I'm very straight that you were willing to humor me and redo the whole deal. I mean, I guess
I could talk about this trade for hours.
I was gonna say
I had so many more thoughts. So I'm glad we got a chance to do this.
Yeah, we'll be back very soon.
We'll be back very soon to talk about post-Media Day stuff. As Ty mentioned in the middle, check out gspn.info to find all of our podcasts. And make sure you're subscribed here, whether you're watching on YouTube or subscribed on your podcast platform of choice. The Packers, check out Talk of the Tundra.
Keep moving.
Yeah, no time. But the Brewers playoffs are starting on Tuesday, tomorrow, as we're recording this, and hopefully as you're listening to this. They start tomorrow. Game 1 against the Diamondbacks. It's gonna be interesting for sure. What's your series prediction for that, Ty? Give me a quick series prediction.
It's a 5-game series?
I believe so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
But it's first 3 at home. Is that correct?
First 2 at home.
First 2 at home?
2-2-1, I think.
I'm gonna say Crew in 4.
I'll say Crew in 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I like their chances a lot. I'm going to go with the conservative 4 pick. 5
the Diamondbacks are starting a rookie right-hander in game
1. Kind of crazy. It's kind of a must-win.
Brandon that?
He looks like a child in the picture. I thought it was a meme at first when I saw the pic they posted of like game 1. I was like, why is this high schooler in the picture?
He has never faced the Brewers. And in August this past August, when he played playoff teams, he had a 14.38 ERA.
You got to get this one.
You got to get game
Brewers.
1.
Please, Brewers.
Please get game 1. But check out Cruising for a Bruising for the actual experts talk about this, because I'm just stumbling my way through this.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. Check out gspn.info again for all those links. Pod random, and we will talk to you next time.